Okay. Nice to hear you once again. Nice to see you once again, and welcome for our Zoom training with Jeff Romualdi, our best friend in network marketing, our best friend of Don Fela. Don Fela is a legend of network marketing. He is our sponsor, and he is teaching us how to do network marketing within like a lifestyle approach that is completely different that maybe you can see on the market. So today's topic is how to get to know new friends. And I think that it's very interesting ones because a lot of people have maybe some difficulties in today's world, especially to find a really friendship, really friends, real friends for us, and that will be like a fundamentals of our MLM network marketing. So I have prepared some questions for Jeff. Maybe we can also talk a little bit about different other things that you would like to talk today. We have also questions from Rian about some steps 1, 2, 3. So I guess it's very important for you to learn how to do this is example of such a dialogue, and we will chat about this if you don't have any things against that, Jeff. And yes, let's start from the first question. Yes, and Jeff, you said together with Don that MLM is a business of being nice to others. What does that mean exactly?
Okay, I'll answer that in just a question, but I just want to thank everybody for being here today. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to Adriana. You know, she works so hard, and so do a lot of you in the background. You could be doing a lot of other things, you know, besides being here. It shows that you have what it takes to make it in network marketing. You know, showing up, it only takes one thing that you may have even heard before in one of these webinars, just one thing that can make all the difference in the world. I remember when that happened to me, when I realized I didn't have to know everything. You know, when I realized that it's just so simple. Do they want something? If they want something, ask them if they'll take a brief look. And if they do it, great. And if they don't, great. And if they're nice people, stay in touch with them. And over a period of time, you'll get about 50% of them when the timing is right for them. I remember when I really learned that, you know, not just here, but here, made all the difference in the world. It took away all the fear, all the anxiety. So showing up to webinars like this and different types of things similar to this, it's a huge deal, even though sometimes you don't feel like it. You know, that's just the way it is. We don't always feel like doing the things that we should be doing, but I can tell you, showing up at these types of webinars, and even better yet, if you can bring a friend with you, that should be your main goal. Just bring one friend with you every time you come. Just ask them. Doesn't matter if they say no, it's okay. You know, just, and it gets back to our first question. So anyway, thank you for showing up here today. I really appreciate it. And I know Adriana does too. She works so hard. You know, it's obviously you want to be nice to everybody. You know, the question was talking about being nice to people. I mean, you can't build a business by being mean, you know, that's for sure. You know, however, you know, in addition to being nice, you know, and you want to be nice to everybody, but not everybody is cut out for the business. So, you know, the most important thing, other than just connecting with people and letting them know that you're a real, genuine human being, the most important thing from a business standpoint is making sure that they are the type of individual that is likely to succeed if they decide to join you in business. And I'll be real short with this because I tend to ramble on because it's just such an important topic. Be very selective. You know, I wrote about that yesterday when I put a post out, to be selective, because the truth is, you know, 80% of the people out there in the world, and they could be lovely people, like I wrote yesterday, they just they don't have the skill set, or they don't have the consistency, or they don't want something bad enough to stick with it long enough to make it. About 20% of the people do. And it's very easy to find the 20% of the people who do. All right. Just watch what they've done in their past. Track record, track record, track record. So yeah, you want to be nice, but have they been successful at different things that they've done? Or if they haven't been successful, have they tried a lot of things? You know, some people, they haven't been successful, but they want it really bad. They just didn't have the right mentor. They didn't have the right system. So, you know, take a look at their past. People are very predictable creatures. You know, I get up, I do basically the same thing every day. I pretty much eat most of the same thing every day. You know, when I'm out and about, I was just out, took a little walk. I always have my cards with me. I mean, you can count on it. If you run into me out on a walk, I'm going to have one of my lifestyle cards with me. You know, people are very predictable creatures. And if they've been successful, or they've tried really hard in the past to be successful, if you approach them correctly and the timing is right, I can guarantee you they can do well in network marketing, because this is the simplest business in the world. I mean, really, it is. Whether you believe that or not. I mean, what do we do? We talk to people about what they want, or if you're too shy, let them read the back of your card. Don't talk at all. You know, just let them read the back of your card. All right. And if they read it and they seem like they're interested, you know, just have them go through the first 5 chapters of the book. Just point them towards it and let them go through it. Now they understand the business, which is critical. If they don't understand the business, they're not going to do anything, because everybody has it in their mind already that this is a sales business. Practically everybody you meet. So unless they go through those first 5 chapters, even if they join your business, they won't succeed. So there's no point. But if they go through it and they're interested in learning more, because not everybody is, and that's okay. All right. You only need 3, 4, 5 serious people in this business to build anything that you want. Then just say, hey, I'm going to send you over some brief information about our vehicle, company products and marketing plan. Check it out. Give me a call back in a couple days, or tonight or tomorrow or whatever. That's the whole business. I mean, I just summed up the entire business for you in 30 or 45 seconds. I mean, that's all you need to do. And if that's all you do, you can forget about all the other questions that I'm going to answer today. If you just make a connection with people and listen, okay? I was just talking to a guy. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a guy, our mailman. I think I told you my mailman story before, you know, but our mail lady had ankle surgery recently, so she had to get a replacement. This is a nice young man. His name is Trevor. And I met him for the first time. I was out in my backyard and he was delivering the mail. And I said hi, you know, very simple, you know, hey, hi, how you doing? I said, are you taking Julie's place? And he said, yeah. And I didn't know she had ankle surgery. You know, he said that she had ankle surgery. And I said, oh my. And then I made some nice comments about Julie, because she's just a really, really nice, hardworking person. And I talked to him for about a minute, and I said, I know you're busy, I'll let you go. And he said, yeah, hey, thanks for it. And I took the mail, so he didn't have to go to the mailbox, you know, because you have to go up a little driveway and then come up onto a deck, and the mailbox is up there. And as I was talking to him, you know, at the end of when I was talking to him, you know, I said, is this your full-time job? He said, yeah, but I work in the evenings too. I deliver food to houses for people. I forget what the name of the company was, but I said, hey, do you ever consider other ways to earn income besides what you're doing? He goes, like, all the time. And so I pulled out my card and I said, here, when you get home, when you get some time, read the back of the card. And if you're interested, give me a call. And that was it. So what's the moral to the story, right? I made a connection. I was nice to him. I didn't take much of his time. I asked him a question or two. and I found out a little bit about him, and then I gave him my card. You can do that kind of thing all day long. Learn to give people compliments. That goes along with question number one, being nice. I mean, how many people gave you a nice compliment yesterday? Right? If it's a sincere compliment from your heart, not just because you made it up because you want to talk to somebody, that doesn't count. People pick up on that real quick. You want to talk to people for real. You want to be authentic. You want to be genuine, and people pick up on that. And then if it's appropriate, everybody should have a hard card with them at all times if they're out and about. Just say, hey, would it be okay if I gave you my lifestyle card? They almost always say yes. I don't remember anybody ever saying no to me, although that could have happened. And then I just tell them to check out the back, contact me if they're interested. That's it. But again, you're always looking, you want to make a connection. You want to find out if people, what their track record is. And this guy that took, I know male people work really, really hard. They're on their feet all day. They're up early. They work all day long. They're sweating and they're out in the sun or the freezing cold. They're workers. They are hardworking people, so that tells me a lot right there. So I don't know what's going to happen there, and I don't really, care. He may call me, he may not, but I've made a friend, I've made a connection, and periodically I'll talk to him, and who knows what'll happen in the future. And that's the best you can do in a situation like that. Be nice to people, but ask some appropriate questions to find out a little bit about them if you can. And if they have a track record of success, hard worker, that kind of thing, you got a good candidate. Because network marketing is so simple. What do? We do this, we do that, and we send them some company information. And then we follow up appropriately to see if they're interested. That's it. And again, you can take all the anxiety off of yourself by understanding it doesn't matter if they join your business or not. That's not the point. The point is to make a friend, make a connection. And if they're the right kinds of people, stay in touch with them periodically. And most of the people, and this is a really important point, most of the people that join your business will not join when you first ask them to take a look. All right, most of them. Let me take that back. If you first get into the business and you have 2 or 3 really close friends that you're really close to, and we do it right, we'll usually get 1 or 2 or even 3 of those people. Okay, but after that, as you're going forward in your business, most of the people that join your business aren't going to join just because you happen to want them to take a look at what you're doing. They might have other things going on in life, and that's fine. Just make sure you stay in touch with them. That's where most people drop the ball, and that's why most people who understand the system, you got to understand the system and what I said first, but most people who do not succeed in network marketing, the reason they don't succeed is they don't stay in touch with the people that they already planted a seed with. That's more important than anything once you make the connection. Because, for example, if you called Adriana today on the phone, you hadn't seen her for a while, and you called her on the phone or you text her and ask her to take a look at your business, she would be really nice, like she always is, right? And she would get back to you in a timely fashion, like she always does. Okay, right? The characteristics of someone who could be good. Perfect example was Adriana. All right. But you know what? She wouldn't join your business because she's already in a business. The timing's not right. Now, if you did not stay in touch with Adriana going forward, you would be crazy. She's the perfect person to have in your network marketing business, but she's already in a business. So you can't expect her to leave the business that she's in and jump into your business. But you never know what's going to happen. I hope she stays with the company that she's with forever, but you never know. So make a connection, stay in touch with the right person. And if something did happen to where Adriana was going to make a switch down the road for whatever reason, okay, the person who stayed in touch with her appropriately and did not bug her and did not try to persuade her and convince her of things that she didn't want to do, that was just there was just a genuinely nice human being who stayed in touch with her, guess what? There's a really good likelihood that she would be joining your business if that time ever came to where she was going to make a change. So that's what makes network marketing so easy. Look for those people with a track record, then stay in touch with them. Okay? That's key. But most people never do it because most people, 80% of the people in the world, quit everything that they do. So that's why it's not even worth it. And they're lovely people. A lot of those kinds of people were in my family. A lot of those kinds of people were friends of mine, but I don't want them in my business because I want to keep them as friends. And I know they won't make it. I just know it. Concentrate on the people, track record, warm, open, easy to talk to, people who are reliable, good communication, good people skills, people who have credibility and influence with their peers, people who are industrious. They just get the job done. They don't quit. If one person says no to them, they're, oh my gosh, they said no to me, they quit. That's not what an industrious person does. So really, I summed up the whole business to you right there in answering that first question. Yeah, it always starts with being nice, but you got to be talking to the right people. Nice, just because you're nice doesn't mean you're going to make it in network marketing. That's part of it, but that's just one part of it. Okay.
Sometimes people think that because Don wrote something like that in his book, that we have to start from our relative or with our friends for the very beginning. Yes. So as you said, not every friend will join your company, will join you, and you have to be selective. Yes. And in fact, you have to just look on your friends in such a way to check if they have the right characteristics or not that are very necessary to do this network marketing in the correct way, like say approach. Yes, am I right?
You are right. Yep.
And sometimes how to find within our friends who is the correct one. Yes, because we love them, we would like to join them to our group, but sometimes we cannot do this. And how to do this exactly, which one should be that special one.
Unless you really know what's going on in their life, unless you really know them, you're not going to know that. It's like, if you're really, really close to them and you know what's going on in their life, if you were talking to them last week over at their house and they were saying, my gosh, my wife just got laid off and, we lost all that income and we're looking for something to be able to, make that income up and we're not really sure what to do. Well, now what they have a need, they have something that they want. Listen to them, maybe ask them a few more questions, because just because their wife lost their job, maybe they need to replace that income really, really quick. Maybe it's better for them, for their wife to find another job first. Because in network marketing, you're not going to get rich in a month or two. It takes 6 months or to a year or even two to build the foundation. So you might not be able to help them out by introducing them to network marketing right now. It might be better that you just help the wife find a job if you can help her find a job. But then after you do that, you can come back and say, hey, in the long term, you might want to take a look at network marketing because you never know if you're going to lose your job or your wife's going to lose your job. Building a network marketing business can solve that problem for you going forward. Would you be open to checking out some information? So just learn to listen to people. If that's all you do is listen to people and ask questions, it's amazing what they will tell you. And if they tell you something that they want that they can't get doing what they're doing now, then just ask them at the appropriate time. It might not be the appropriate time if you're at a party, but just keep it in the back of your mind and maybe give them a call tomorrow or the next day, and say, hey, Adriana, yesterday it was really good seeing you. And it was an interesting comment you made about such and such. And I have something that might be able to solve your problem, and help you get that, whatever it was that you wanted. would you be open to checking out some brief information that explains what I'm talking about? So just listen. All right. Listen and ask questions, and you can't go wrong in network marketing. Really, the less you talk, the better off you are. Do an experiment the next time you go to a function, where just be nice to people, introduce yourself, and just ask a simple question and listen, and then just keep on asking questions and listening. Don't talk unless they ask you about something about you. Then briefly answer the question, but get right back to asking them questions. That the best gift that you can give anybody is to take the time to really listen to them. Because in today's world, hardly anybody listens to anybody. Wives, don't listen to their husbands. Husbands, a lot of times, don't listen to their wives. Everybody's so busy. We're not listening to our children. We're always running to get that next thing done. Check off the list. I got to get this done. Sit back, take a deep breath, and listen to people. And not only listen from your mind, but listen from your heart. Like, if someone says to you, I love you, or if they look in your eyes and they have tears coming down their life and they're hugging you, telling you how much they love you, is there a difference? Yes, there's a difference, right? A huge difference there. And people, that's what I mean by listen with your heart. Like, the words are one thing, and words are important, but how are they telling you the story? Are they crying when they're telling you the story? Or are they just kind of like telling you a story just to make small talk? It's not really meaningful to them. Learn to listen. And when you find something that somebody wants, and you can tell that, maybe my gosh, my kids are going to school in the next couple of years. My husband lost his job last year. So we had to take all the savings that was going to be used for the kids' college, and we had to use that to be able to live. And we're in a jam. In the next couple of years, we need to be able to help our kids. That's the most important thing in the world to us. I'm not sure what we're going to do. Is that important to that person if they say it like that to you? I think it's important. So, you listen to that, and all I would say in a situation like that is, if I could help you solve that problem of, helping your kids with the tuition for college, would you be willing to check out some brief information? That's it. You see, you listen, ask questions. And if you find a real want, a real desire there, all right, and it might not be in the beginning of the conversation, it might be 10 minutes into a conversation, or you never know when it's going to pop up. But if you're listening for it, and always think of it this way, you guys, it's like, it's not about interrogating people. It's about really getting to know someone. It's about making a friend. That's what it is. And then caring about them. It's not about getting you into my business. I don't care if you only need 3 or 4 or 5 people, the right people, to build anything you want. If you do the things that we're talking about here today, make a connection, listen, ask questions, come from here, not just from here, but from here, you will hear what people want. They will open up to you, because most people never take the time to really, really listen. It's a gift. It's like people are like, they can't even believe that someone's taken the time to really listen to them, because hardly anybody ever does it. They're amazed. And it sets you apart, and it makes you unique from almost anybody that they've ever met. And that makes the business so simple. Just remember, just listen to people and ask appropriate questions. Don't make them feel weird. Tell me a little bit more about that. That kind of weirdness. Just have a normal conversation from the heart, and people will open up to you. They'll tell you amazing things. And once they connect with you like that, and they become your friend, and they get to know you a little bit, they trust you, they like you. A lot of times they don't even know why they like you so much. Because it's not like you went out and did, gave them money or helped them. You just listened to them. So they're not, a lot of times they're not really connecting to that. They just know. Did you ever walk away from someone and you go, I just like that person? They just made me feel good. If you analyze that situation, in almost every case, it's because they actually listened to what you were talking about. They actually cared about you and they didn't have an agenda. You didn't feel like they were just listening to try to get you into something. That doesn't work. It's like dogs always know the right people to bite. They know the mean people and they know the nice people too. And humans, human beings are the same way. With you guys, I try to get back. I've been so busy lately with just so many different things, and so it's been hard to get back. Timothy wrote me something last Wednesday. I just got back to him last night, and Timothy, Eva, great guy. You know, all of you on this call. I mean, I love you all, it's like, but sometimes it's like, it's impossible for me to get back, but I will always get back unless I totally screw up. And that's not on purpose. I'm not anywhere near perfect. Believe me. It's like, I screw up all the time. You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter if you screw up. If people really know you care about them, so I got back to Timothy yesterday. He left me a couple messages. It was like 30 minutes worth of messages. I just didn't have time. I listened to some of it and it was interesting stuff. And I love Tim. He's awesome. And I wanted to listen to it, but I didn't have the energy or the time to go through it all. I had so many other things to do. So I just got back to him and I was honest. And I said, Timothy, hey man, I appreciate your question, but narrow it down to 5 minutes, redo it, narrow it down to 5 minutes. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And he got back to me right away because he's a great guy. And he said, no problem, Jeff, I'll do that. He understood. See, the right people that you want in your, they understand. The right people get it. And you'll know it. You'll just know it. I know whenever I write to like Timothy or Adriana or Abdul or Sader and Lupita, I know whenever I get back to, they almost always get back to me right away. And they don't just get back, they say something like meaningful and they'll actually answer. It's like, they're the right kinds of people. They're the people that you're looking for. And you just know it, so get rid of, don't be afraid. You know what I mean? This business, every one of you right here, if you just listen and ask questions, build relationships and stay in touch, every one of you is going to go to the top of your company. I don't care what company you're in, as long as it's a good company that's going to be around for the long term. Okay, I mean, that's important. You can't be, if you're in a crappy company, I mean, it doesn't matter if you do everything right if the company's not around. So you have to pick the right company, and that's a whole nother subject. But in the meantime, just create those relationships with people and stay in touch. And people will, someone called me this morning that I talked to about 6 months ago and said, hey, I think I'm ready to get involved in your business. Can you give me a call when you get a couple minutes? And I haven't talked to them in 6 months, but I laid the foundation. They knew if they were going to get, if they got involved with me, that I would help them succeed. And you know what I did? I contacted them and I said, you know what? I'm so glad to hear from you, but the timing right now for me to sponsor you into the business is not right. Like, if I can't get back to people that are already in my business right now because I'm doing so many different things, is it fair for me to sponsor somebody, right, that I'm not going to be able to spend time with? That's not fair. If you sponsor someone, you have to make a commitment to them to help them succeed. Okay? If you can't do that, do not sponsor them. So, I said something. I said, if you can wait a couple of months, I'll be able to be there for you. But if you can't and you want to get involved right away, I have someone in my downline who's super sharp, and I'm sure that they would be glad to help you. I'll have to check with her first because I know she's really busy too. But if that's something you want to, I'd still be working with you. It's just that you would be under one of my really, really good friends who's like really good at the business. So, if you'd want to do that, I'll introduce you to her and you can get started right now. But I won't be able to really work with you for the next like couple of months real closely because I just don't have the time right now. If I want to get this community up and running for you and the app and everything associated with the book, I've got to have laser-like focus. But you got to let people know that. You got to tell them the truth. Like, in the Bible, it says the truth will set you free. It'll set you free in an eternal life standpoint, but it'll also set you free with your friends, because they might not be happy about what you say, because maybe they're ready to go to work and they want to work with you, but they'll appreciate and they'll love you for being honest with them. You have to tell people the truth. And a lot of times, even I do it. A lot of times, sometimes you want to tell them something to make them feel good, right? Because you don't want to let them down. It's always better to just be 100% honest with people. Just tell them the truth and explain it to them. I can't help you right now because I'm so busy doing other things in the business, but I care about you a lot. So I'll give you a couple alternatives. And then I explain, and then they're fine. And if they don't get into your business right now, in this particular example, I just tell them, I make a little note. I put it on my card that's always sitting right next to me. Okay, get back to Freddie in 2 months. And I put it there, and then when I wake up, it'll 2 months, it'll say, get back to Freddie. I'll give him a call. Freddie, are you still interested in getting started with me in the business? Yeah, I'm ready to go, Jeff. Okay. All right. So it's all about just being genuine and honest with people.
Jeff, I'm considering about this dialogue that we received to talk about 3 steps, how we are going through, because I just have such a thinking right now after your answer that it is the matter of being really friends already, because when you go through system and you are not a like friend, but like someone not so close to that person, for you it's very difficult to go through the first 3 steps.
Yeah.
Is it like that? Because sometimes we are going to that 3-step system, like for some kind of I don't know, steps that usually people do in a business. And for example, I do that, I have to do this, and I have to do that, and send them, and something like that. But we don't made the connection with these people. They really don't trust us enough to really want to read the book. They have the objective obstacles. I don't know how to say some kind of something against always. Yes, always have questions. Give me more question. Why I have to read this? Yes, and when these people starting to be really close friends, they don't have no against nothing against that to read this. Yes, because you build your trust. Am I right or not?
Yeah. I could not have said it better. It always goes back to making a connection, making a friend first, from here and from here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else after that is easy if you do that first. Because if the timing is right, why wouldn't they want to take a look at what you have?
Yeah.
Don says it all the time. Almost everybody wants a better life. Almost everybody would love to own their life, time, money, and health. The problem is they don't know any way to do it, and they don't have anybody that they really trust enough, to look at the world today. Okay, I mean, who can you trust? I mean, it's like the world is absolutely insane anymore. There's so much lying and cheating, and it's like, if you're just nice to people, ask them questions, make a connection, stay in touch with them, you stand out like a shining star to people. And from there, it's just a matter of staying in touch with them. And then after that, you don't want to, if you don't make a connection with them, okay, obviously they're going to start asking questions. They're like, what is it? Tell me about it, because anybody would want to know that. Everybody is so busy. They're not just going to like take your word for it that this is something that's great. Most people lie to them. Most of the things they hear on television or whatever, it's all bull. So why should they take the time to listen to you? They're busy people. They got their family and their kids and their you know, you have to make yourself um, completely different than anybody else that they know. And the best way to do that, by far, it's not even close, is to just ask questions and listen. And don't talk. Like if there's nothing to talk about, like if they answer your question and you can't think of something else to say, don't say anything. There's no agenda. You know, it's just about now, if they say something that is interesting to you, you know, then if you have another question for them, sure, say that's interesting. Like, how in the world did that happen? Well, a lot of times you'll end up in a 10, 15, 20-minute conversation with someone. They're telling you everything about whatever they're talking about. And just listen. Don't don't be thinking of the next thing to say, okay? Some people, it's just they don't listen. They're just waiting for their time to talk. That's not what listening is. Listening is just listening, like take it in, understand what they're saying. And by the way, if you don't understand what they're saying, you know, sometimes people were talking to me and I might not understand what they meant, you know. Well, obviously, if you don't understand what they meant, it's, you know, that's, you know, you have to find out, you know, because it might be something important. If they're taking the time to tell you about it, you know, it's probably important to them, right? So if you didn't understand what they said, don't be afraid. You know, don't act like you understood them if you didn't. Just say, geez, could you just explain that again to me? Because it sounds so interesting, but I'm not exactly sure I understood what you meant. You know, and then a lot of times they'll be so appreciative because remember, people want to be heard. They want people to hear them, right? What's going on in their life because nobody does it. Most people walk through life, unless you're one of the lucky ones that have, you know, a great family, you know, great husband, great whatever. Great, most people go through life not being heard. And when you hear them and you really listen to them and they know you care, man, they'll do almost anything for you if the timing is right. And then network marketing. Network marketing then becomes so easy and so simple. You know, it makes that's the whole. How many people do that? Like, you know, if they're trying, most people, they're trying to get you into something. They're trying to persuade you or convince you or, you know, write a great sales letter or whatever. And I'm not saying that stuff never works. I mean, sometimes it can work, right? But those sales techniques and writing letters and, you know, you know, you read like Eric Worre's book and he tells you how to follow up appropriately and, you know, all these things to say, they might work, okay, if you have the skill sets to be able to do them. But you know what they don't do? They don't duplicate. They don't. Like, but you know what does duplicate? Caring about human beings, listening to them from the heart, not only here, but from here, and actually caring about them so that they know it, that duplicates. Okay. People, because they're so appreciative and it meant so much to them that you listen to them, that what happens is if they get into your business, they go, you know what? Adriana didn't have to convince or persuade me of anything. She just cared about me, asked me questions, and she listened. She didn't try to talk me into anything. I never felt pressure, you know, but she listened to me and then she just asked me that one question. You know, after I mentioned that I wanted to take care of my boys, help them with college, she just said, I know what you feel like. I have sons too. I know where you're coming from. You know, if there was a way that I could help you help your kids get the money to go to college, would you be open to checking out some brief information? Bam. That's it. So listen, read books, go buy some books on listening. Send me a text afterwards if you can remember. Jot this down. There's a I can't remember his name, but he did a he did a talk on listening, the importance of listening, and it was just unbelievable. Like,
Dale
you know,
Carnegie.
no, he's great. You know, How to Win Friends and Influence People is the number one book that everybody should read, in my opinion. But that's not it. just remind me, if you don't mind, Adriana, just say, find that, the gentleman who did the course on listening.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, listening and then asking appropriate questions, asking appropriate questions is probably, in my opinion, it's a more important skill than even listening. Listening's probably the number two skill, because let's just say, for example, if you can ask appropriate questions, you can steer the conversation anywhere you want it to go. I mean, because if you're talking to some crazy person that's driving you crazy and you're just being nice and you're asking them questions, you know, you might be there for 45 minutes listening to some crazy person or something. But if you can ask the appropriate question, you can steer that conversation anywhere that you want. All right. Um, but buy a book on asking questions and on listening, and study those two books. Because if you can do those two things, network marketing is a cinch. It's a cakewalk, because that's what people want. They want to know that you care, and that's how you get them to know that you care. And it's really the only way. Just because you're a great network marketer who's made millions of dollars, so what? I mean, if everybody, I mean, you could call up somebody, I could give you 50 names of people who are millionaires in network marketing, easily 50 that I know personally. Okay. And you could call and you could get into every one of those person's businesses. You could go to this guy and that girl who's made millions of dollars, and you could sign up under them, right? And you probably still, if you didn't understand what I just told you, you probably still wouldn't make any money. Well, how can that be? They're millionaires. They've done great. Because it's not about what they've done. It's not about that. I mean, they might be great at, I know a guy who's recruited 1,600 people, and he's making a couple $100,000 a month, but he works 24 hours a day, never gets to go on vacation with his family. He's always working, right? And it's like, if you signed up under that particular person, I can almost guarantee you, because 99.5% of everybody that signs up under this person does not succeed. Okay, because they can't do what this person does. They don't have the drive. They don't have the skill sets. They don't have, I mean, it goes on and on and on. So it doesn't matter, who your sponsor is, if they're not teaching you something that you can do. And here's what every one of you can do. All of you can listen from the heart and the mind, and you can ask questions, and all of you can genuinely decide to care for other people. And if that's all you do, believe me, you'll build a huge network marketing business, because the rest of it is so simple. We do this, we do that, and we send them to our company website. And they either want to do that or they don't. And then you just, if they get involved in your business, you just do what we're doing right now. You teach them what we're talking about, come from the heart, listen, ask questions, listen, and then a little simple system. And make sure, that you're not doing it with, make sure you're doing it. You want to listen to everybody. You want to care about everybody, but not everybody is going to be able to make it in network marketing. They got to have those certain attributes. So, focus on the people with those attributes, and ask questions and listen, and then stay in touch, because most of them are not going to join your business in the beginning. Because what's the probability that you caught them at the right time? If I ask, Daniel, hey, Daniel, would you like to take a look at what I'm doing right here? Well, he might want to take a look at what I'm doing, but he's already in a company. He's already happy with his company, as far as I know. So it would be silly for me to try to convince him to leave that company to come with me. You don't want to do that. I mean, that's tearing down our industry. Just because they're not in your business, that doesn't mean anything. There's probably a couple hundred really good, solid companies. A couple hundred. Of the 2,000, there's probably 200 companies that are worthwhile being in. And if they're in one of those companies now, if Daniel would come back to me and say, you know what, our company's not doing very well, I'm not happy with it, blah blah blah. Now that's different. He's looking for something. Then it may be appropriate for me to say, okay, well, if you're actively looking, you know I'll get you some information. But don't try to talk people into getting into your business. Don't ever do that. Whether they're in a business already or they're not, don't try to talk them into anything. Make a connection with them. And then if you hear something that you can help them get that they can't get, just say, hey, if I could help you get that, would you be open to checking out some information? And you just do that over and over and over and over and over. And it's really it's simple, but it's not easy, because especially if you come from a sales background. And so many people in network marketing do come from a sales background because they don't know any better. They think network marketing is sales. So when you're telling them this stuff, although they connect with you intellectually, right, it's very difficult for them to do it because they like to talk. That's why non-sales types can be so much more successful in network marketing because they don't like to talk. You know, a lot of the non-sales types, they just like to listen, and they're interested in people. You know, they care about people, and they don't want to talk, you know, and they can become amazing network marketers because the secret to our business really is to teach people not to talk.
Jeff,
It's
isn't that the matter that always people meet together with others and they have intention, the wrong intention, because they have intention of selling them or presenting them any huge, fantastic project of MLM that they are in, instead of intention of being really friendly, really friends. Yes, this is the wrong matter here, I guess, because sometimes people are just talking together and they have in their back on their back something like that. Oh my god, how to go to the goal. Yes, I have to talk to them about my company, how to make the conversation in such a way to go to the point. Yes, where I would like to talk with them about my company, about my everything. Yes, this is the wrong direction, I guess. The intention of getting in touch with people. Am I right, or how do you think?
you're exactly right. And plus, think of all the stress that that creates. That's so hard to do, trying to figure out, oh, what should I do if they say this? What should I do? I don't care what they say. Let people say what they want. Just make a connection with them and have a nice conversation. Truly listen to them. I can't say it enough. Truly listen to them.
Listen, yes.
Look at them. Look at them when they're talking to you. Look at them in their eyes. And don't be thinking of the next thing to say, because they pick up on that. You know why they'll pick up on it? Because sometimes when you say the next thing, it has nothing to do with what they said. So they know you were thinking about something else while they were talking. If you want to make if you want to make people not like you, then let them know you're not listening to them, because that's telling them that you don't care. It's so easy. You have to be a caring. In this business, the most important thing by far, it's not even close, is having people understand that you are truly a good human being who cares about them. If they understand that, all the rest takes care of itself.
Sometimes we have to avoid any expectation that we have to that people. Yes.
Yeah, I never have any expectation. I mean, or at least I try not to. I mean, sometimes, because if they're super sharp and they have a track record of success and all that, you get caught up. But I've learned it's something that you learn. You got to learn these things. If you've never heard them, you know, that's what's so nice about asking questions and listening. It's a really easy learning curve. I mean, it's like if you can just discipline yourself not to talk, it's very easy to do it. For some people, that's not easy, but it's the key. Don't have any expectations. Let the conversation go wherever it goes. The other
Mhm.
day I was talking to someone had nothing to do with network marketing. I was just over at a friend of mine's house, and a friend of mine came over, and they came over, and the conversation came up about this one person had a particular health problem, and um, it was a back problem. I had a couple surgeries on my back, so I can relate. And It's like, so so they were having a lot of spasms in their lower back, and I've been living with back problems for since I was 20 years old. Okay. That's why I have to put all kinds of things behind my back. That's why you see me going like this all the time, because my back is like killing me right now. All right. So I saw an opportunity to help this person because they were in a lot of pain and they had surgery and it didn't really work the way they thought it was going to work. So I just gave them a little tip. I do this thing called myotherapy to loosen up my muscles. And I asked them after I listened to them, I say, I understand. I've had back problems since I was 20 years old. And, I understand what you're going through. Having a bad lower back can ruin your life. I mean, literally, it changes your life entirely because you can't do the things that you used to do. If you were an active person, if you were in athletics, I mean, my back was so bad for about 10 years, I didn't even want to go to people's house because I'd have to find a couch. I'd have to find stuff to put behind my back. A lot of times I'd have to bring an ice pack because my back would swell up so bad. Who wants to go to someone's house and sit in the corner of a couch and do all that stuff? So I understand what that person was going through. So I said, I think I could probably help you with that, and I told her my story in about a minute. And I said, this is the only thing that helped me after 3 surgeries. And she was all ears, because she knew that I was trying to help her. She felt it, and then when I got home, I sent her to a link to a video that explains, what I told her when we got together. And it's like, so I made a new friend. I made a connection. And I can tell you this, I don't know if she'll ever get in my business or anything like that, but this person has all the characteristics to be fantastic in network marketing. So I'll stay in touch with this person periodically. I'll send them a card, I just got, I'll stay in touch with them. And if the timing is right, yeah, I'll ask them, if I hear something that they want, it might be a month from now, it might be 3 years from now, I might say to them, hey, if I could show you how to get that, would you be open to checking out some brief information? I just got a note today from someone. This is a top producer, makes $250,000 a month in network marketing. Okay. Haven't talked to him in a while, but I'll just write you. He said, hey Jeff, it's been a while. Thank you for all the really nice cards you send our family from time to time. I miss talking with you. Let's catch up when we can. All right. All right. Now, I'm never going to get this person in my business. Most likely. He's in a business. He's making $250,000 a month. Very successful. Very well known. If I told you his name, you'd probably know who he is. Okay. All right. And he knows he's not going to get me in his business. Right. But because I like to send greeting cards, like snail mail, like in the mail. That's one thing that I do. All right. And he has a really nice family and stuff. And periodically he posts something that's really cool. And I take a picture of it. I'll send them a card. I'll write them a nice little card. Takes less than 5 minutes. All right. And it's all about him. You like when I send a card, do you ever get those cards where people are telling you all about what they did the last year in their family? Like, oh, Joey went to school and da 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 da. It's like, I don't like sending cards talking about myself because most people don't really care about what's going on in like your life. They care about what's going on in their life. So if they post something like if I take a picture, it's a picture of something that they like maybe their son graduated from high school or graduated from college, or maybe they I don't know, they won some award or something like this, and they posted it on Facebook. I'll write them a little card and I'll say, wow, that is really great. Your son, obviously you're very proud, and what a great picture. I'll write a little note to them, put it in a card and send the card. It takes me 5 minutes to do that. You would not believe like the responses that you get from people when they know you really care about like them for real. I didn't say to him, hey, I see you're doing, hey, would you like to take a look? I see your son graduated from college. You must be really proud. And by the way, I'm involved in this new company. Would you be open to taking a look at it? Like, don't do that. That ruins everything. You know, just be genuine. Write them a nice note complimenting them about something that they care about. And they'll connect with you, and you'll build all kinds of relationships. And it could be 3 months, it could be 2 years, whatever. You will find your 3, 4, 5, or 6 or 7 people to build your empire with. And you've already trained them on how to do the business, by the way, if you're doing these kinds of things, because they remember what you did. And they remember, she never tried to talk me into this. She never bugged me. She just stayed in touch with me. She was always nice to me. They remember that stuff. And you know what? If they get into your business, they'll have no problem introducing you to their friends and relatives because they trust you. They know you're not going to make them look bad because you're a genuinely good human being. And you'll stand out, like I said, like a shining star. I know we're getting a little late in the day here. Any questions? Anything else?
Yeah, there are many questions, however, as usually.
Well, remember, it always goes back to asking questions and listening. Like every one of these questions can be answered if you just make a connection. That almost solves all the problems. So remember that. Ask questions and listen.
I'm
It is
I'm collecting I'm collecting all that questions, so no question will be no without any answer in the future. So if not here right now, maybe in the future on our group, we will take care about them.
Listen,
Uh,
here, let me say this one thing. When we get the community and stuff up and running, all
mhm.
right, you guys can ask as many questions as you want. We're going to be posting. There'll be surveys and quizzes like, what's the thing that you
Yeah.
want to get the most out of this community? What is it? And then you'll get back to us and you'll have your questions answered. And it won't only be me because I don't want to be the one always. I don't always have the right answers. Okay. It's like just because I've been in the business for 30 years, that doesn't mean I know everything. Really. I mean, it's like, so what happens is, as we get this community going and this app going, we're going to have other people that like go, hey, say Monica ask a question, or post a question. And I want other people are going to be going like, hey, here's what I did in that situation. And what's going to happen is other people are going to see it. Like Rita will see it or Michael will see it and they'll go, that's an interesting answer right there. I'd like to add to that. And we'll have, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, all like answering all these questions that are on your mind. It'll be going on all the time. So don't worry. When things get up and running, and it's not going to be that long now, it's going to be awesome. It's really going to be a lot of fun. It's going to make building your business so much easier because when you sponsor someone and you have them like get involved in the community and the app, they're never going to want to leave because they're going to go, oh my gosh, like who would want to leave this? All these like-minded people helping one another, being nice to one another, helping people succeed. I mean, they're never going to want to leave. And as you build your business out, 525, 125, and they're all seeing this, can you imagine like what's going to happen in your business? It's going to take on a life of its own. All right.
Yeah.
So, if you want, if you have any specific, I know you have a lot of questions here, but maybe there's some people on the call. Maybe it's better to take some specific questions while I got them. I have about 20 minutes left. If you want me to stick around for another 20 minutes, if you want to go, because I understand you have other things to do, that's fine too. There'll be plenty of this down the road, but I can stick around for another 20 minutes if you want. That's up to
Okay.
you.
So Jeff, maybe we can continue maybe 10, 15 minutes more, but I would just such an idea right now here because we have a list of questions. I will put each question in a separate post, and there you can answer. Everybody can talk about that answers in comments. Also, you can answer if you will have time for that, of course.
Yeah.
Whoever, you can add some comments to that questions, okay? Because it's so important sometimes to listen you also what idea you have, because it's really sometimes very very surprising when you have something great in your minds and you cannot tell that right now here. And please join right now our group if you are not over there. Fans of Don Fela Own Your Life. This is on Facebook right now. And when we will have the app, we will turn all that group to that app, and there we will have the community. But right now, we can also be over there and make some connection, closer connection each other, and talk over there. Yes.
Yeah,
So
perfect. Yep.
so let's do this in such a way. And next question: how do you recall any situation where you met someone and that someone became your friend for years? What do you think makes friendship so lasting? From your point of view, Jeff.
I think something that you have in common, if I mean, people tend to hang around people that are like themselves, that they can relate to, you know. Um, hang on one second. Okay, all right. Be right with you. I'm having problems here hearing. Okay, sorry about that. For some reason, I couldn't hear you. But say something, Adriana.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I got it. All right. Yeah, I mean, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
From your point of view, do you recall a situation where you met someone and that someone became your friend for years? What do you think makes friendship so lasting?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of situations like that in my life. I think you make a connection. I'll give you an example. One of my friends, he's a Pennsylvania state senator, and when I was in junior high school, I met him, and I didn't really know him. I just saw him walking around. He was real tall, real good looking guy, always had a pretty girlfriend. You know, I was uh I was kind of chunky with pimples all over my nose. All right. So I didn't have girlfriends. And so I wanted to, in my mind, I said, you know what, I want to try to meet this guy because, I'd like to have a girlfriend too. And he obviously figured it out. So, the commonality there was, I wanted to have what he had that I didn't have. And I figured out a way to talk with him one time, and we became fast friends. It's like, because I wanted to learn, how to get a girlfriend, and he knew how to do it. So we a lot of the other things we didn't have in common. He was real tall, good looking kid, had lots of girls. I didn't. All right. But once I met him, I realized we had a lot of things in common other than that, and we became fast friends. So, I think make a connection with people, and a lot of times, or sometimes, maybe not a lot of times, you'll realize that you have other things in common, and then you end up becoming really close friends with them. I mean, it's trying to think of another example. What question was that, Adriana? What number question?
The second.
That was the second one. Let me
Mm-hmm.
see that. Let's see if I made any notes when I was reviewing that. Oh, got it. Yeah. I mean, a couple other things that come to mind, is that, people people are pretty predictable. Liars lie, cheaters cheat, complainers complain, whiners whine. People who smoke cigarettes tend to run around with people who smoke cigarettes. They're comfortable with them. So, when you obviously, if someone is a really genuinely good human being, all right, and and or let's take it this way. Let's just say someone's a nasty person, just kind of a mean person. You're not going to probably want to be friends with them and hang around with them. So it's all about finding things in common. In network marketing, what you're looking for are people who have a track record of success, or warm, open, easy to talk to. You look for things, and that's what's in common with me. I've always been ambitious, even when I was a little kid. I've always tried to be nice to people.
This is a reminder.
Excuse me.
Renew gun license.
Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. Yeah, so you meet people, you find commonalities, and you just build that relationship over time. And if they aren't, the kinds of people that you want to hang around with, well, then you still be nice to them, but you don't have to be friends with them. You don't have to run around with them. You don't have to ask them to take a look at your business. I mean, it's pretty simple. Just be genuine. There's no real, um, and conversely, winners win. I think people's character traits are set by the time they're 6 years old. I really do. I mean, think of people that you know from your past, and most of those people just are like, they continue to do the same things over and over. There are exceptions to every rule, but most people pretty much, if they're mean people, they tend to get. Sorry about that. My alarms are going off. So that's pretty much it with that question right there. You're gonna make friends and and stay friends with people who you have common traits with, and there's no way to get around that.
Yeah, thank you. There is also a question that it's connected with step 1, 2, 3. And we always teach people that make a friendship first and then ask them the question number 1, step 2, and so on. And the question here in the chat is something like that is it possible, or how can we ask others when they are from, let's say, cold market, cold calling, yes, how to apply step 1, 2, 3 if you are doing cold calling? This is almost impossible, I guess.
Got it. Well, it's not impossible. I mean, you can do it it's the law of averages then. That's what you're going to then. I mean, it's like, if you want to build a business like that, that's fine. I mean, if you do enough of anything, as long as if all you did was go to the mall or whatever, and you handed out lifestyle cards all day long, that's all you did, you might succeed in the business, but it's not very duplicatable. I mean, who's going to do that? Hardly anybody would do that. It's just, it just doesn't make, it's so much easier just to make a connection with people by asking questions and listening, and you say, well, how do I get, if I don't know people, or if I ruined all my friends, for example, how do I do that? Well, it's pretty simple. Start, there's so many different networking groups, that you can get involved with. I mean, if you start on Facebook, just start wishing people a happy birthday, send them a voicemail. Happy birthday. Hope you have a really special day. It's as simple as that. Nice little voicemail on Facebook Messenger. The ones that reply to you, if they're really nice and they thank you, you might want to follow them a little bit closer on Facebook. And if you find out that they're really nice people and they seem like, the kind of people that you might want to talk to about your business someday, well, then build that relationship over time on Facebook. Just ask them questions. If they make a nice post, compliment them on their post or whatever. Don't talk to them about the business, though, until you really feel like you've built that trust up with them. And that could take a couple of weeks. It could take a month. It could take 6 months. It might be never. Okay. I mean, let your intuition guide you there. You could do that on LinkedIn. I mean, just, again, don't start off by talking about your business. All right. That's the way to do it. Now, if you don't want to do that for whatever reason, and you just want to use the law of large numbers, well, then use your lifestyle card, and don't talk a lot. Like, if I meet someone in the street, if I'm talking to them, I never give them my card unless I make some kind of connection with them. You know, the other day I was taking a walk and there was someone walking their dog, and it was a really pretty dog. And I said, wow, that's a gorgeous dog. And they said, oh, thank you, blah, blah, blah. And we talked for about 2 minutes. And I had to go because I was in a hurry. I said, it was really nice to meet you. I said, by the way, would it be okay if I gave you my lifestyle card? Now, I only talked to them for about 2 minutes. I paid them a compliment or two. I complimented them on their dog. And they said, sure, what's a lifestyle card? I said, I'll just read the back of it. And if it's something that interests you, get in contact with me and I'll send you some information. And that was it. So, you know, you don't want to spend a lot of time with people like that because they don't have the time. You don't have the time. You don't know if they're the right kind of person or not. I mean, you just met them, you know, so don't spend any time with them because the chances are they're not going to get in your business anyway, but you never know. So make sure that you at least give them your card. I was in some of you might have heard me tell this story before. Years ago, I was at a we call them 7-Elevens, like a convenience store where you can get coffee and stuff like that. And I was in line and I had my pin on, my Own Your Life pin. And the guy behind me, he saw my pin and he says, Own Your Life, you know, what's that about? And I said, well, it means, you know, having time, money, and health at a time in your life when you can enjoy it with the people that you care about. He goes, that's pretty neat. How does that work? And I said, well, it'll take me about 30 minutes to tell you. I got to pay for my coffee and run, you know, but if you want, you know, and he seemed like a pretty nice guy. I mean, most people don't say something like that. Don't ask you about your pin like that. He was genuinely interested. I could tell, you know, and then when I told him what it was, he goes, that's really interesting. You know, what's that all about? I could tell, you know, and I said, well, I could loan you a book that'll explain it. Take you probably 30 minutes, 60 minutes to read it. If you promise to give it to me back. If you want it, I'll give it to you, but I'll loan it to you, but just promise to give it to me back. He goes, I promise. And I didn't know if I'd ever get the book back. You know, these were the old days. So he goes, yeah, so I paid for my coffee. I walked out to my car. I always had books with me at that time and cards. And I got the book and I said, here's the book. And I said, you know, can I have your phone number so I can follow up with you? He gave me his phone number. And anyway, I couldn't get a hold of him for a couple weeks. I think I called him a couple times. He didn't return my call. So I figured I lost my book, right? I don't recommend handing out books like that, by the way, because you'll lose most of them, you know, but I was doing pretty well at the time. I wasn't really worried about money at that time. And I could afford losing a book. And I kind of liked this guy. There was something about him, you know, so I took the chance. And and anyway, like 2 or 3 weeks later, he tracked me down. He said, sorry I didn't return your calls, but I didn't get to the book yet. I wanted to read it first before I called you. And he goes, hey, that's pretty interesting. You know, what's the company? What's the product? Right. And I said, and so I got him some information there. Anyway, that guy who I had never met before, right, ended up getting into my business. And that guy right there paid off my house. Okay. Now, it doesn't usually happen that way, you know, but let's think of the things that I did right there. Okay. What did I do right? Number one, I was wearing my pin. He would never have asked me the question had I not had my pin on. It could be a hat, it could be a shirt, you know, whatever, but it made a difference, right? Made a big difference. Number two, I had my books in my car. You know, how many people in network marketing have Don's book in their car? Probably not many, right? And that book is what got that person in. He was a professional, a very successful guy in a traditional business. He read that book and he was like, wow, unbelievable. You know, and isn't that interesting? Some people read the book and they go, eh. Other people read the book and they go, unbelievable. And then they get in your business and they pay your house and your cars off. All right. I mean, so you have to be prepared for success. You know, I had my pin on. I didn't wear a hat in those days. You know, I had the book. I did get his phone number. All right. I did follow up, but then he finally got a hold of me. So you have to prepare yourself for success, you know, and good things will happen to you if you do that, you know. Okay,
I have a question for you. Do you want to have a photo with Jeff today? If yes, please turn on your cams, okay? If not, you will be without that. And I have a question for all of you. Think about this. Who is the best friend of a man? Who
Your
is the?
dog.
Please turn on your microphones. I'm preparing for doing photo. Are you ready?
Yep, ready.
Okay, so thumbs up. Hearts or I don't know what do you want? Let's do this. And 1, 2, 3. Thank
What
you.
a friend we have in Jesus.
You
All
bet.
right. Beside Jesus. All right. But here in our real world, okay, reality, who is the best friend of man? Who knows?
I can say, but I will not.
Yeah, that was Michael that said it. Yeah, Jesus is my best friend, so he actually got it right.
Okay. Beside Jesus, okay.
Yes, but I can see Jesus in Adriana, in Jeff, in everybody here. You see?
All right.
Very nice.
I would like to hear another answer. I can tell you something. Maybe it will be some kind of inspiration for you. I always look on my dog. Dog is the best friend of a man. And Jeff, you said it for the very beginning, yes? How is dog acting? He's so friendly. Be like a dog to other people. They will love you.
That's a great point, and it's so true.
Yeah.
Just make friends. Don said it. He says it over and over again. And again, it's one of these ideas that's so obvious, but we don't really internalize it a lot of times. You know, make a friend, that is, if you don't already have one, and meet their friends. That really is the whole business because the system is so simple, right? If that's the whole takeaway of all these questions right there, if there was one thing to take away, it would be that. Make a friend and meet their friends. And when it's appropriate, ask them to take a look. And if it's not appropriate, don't ask them to take a look. You only need 3 or 4 or 5 people. You don't need everybody. So important.
Yeah, thank you very much once again, Jeff, for your commitment here and for all your attention here, guys. Thank you also very much for your time. See you next month. I would like to organize the next meeting with Jeff maybe on 24th May. Jeff, what about that date? Are you ready for that? 24th May, it's a Wednesday. The same time, the same links. So I invite you.
Yep, that works for me. That
Yeah,
works.
that's work for you. Okay, so 24th May will be next meeting with Jeff. I will invent some topic. Maybe we will go deep with the same topic as today. Maybe you will have other question, or we will chat on our group and we will find another very hot points to discuss. Okay. So thank you very much once again. See you next time, and kisses for all of you and my hugs all over the world. Bye.
Okay. Hey, thank you, everybody. Love you guys.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you, Jeff.
Bye.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Gracias. Ciao. Okay.